Hi friends, today I will be talking of the most famous Patanjali Yogsutra, which is the Yogsutra number 2, Yogah Chitta Vritti Nirodha. This sutra in these 4 words encompasses the full definition of yoga, as to why we do yoga, what is the purpose of yoga. Let's understand this sutra by understanding it word by word. So yoga means union. What is this union referring to? This union refers to the union of a Atma with Paramatma, or of a self with God, or of a consciousness with the superconsciousness. So that is what yoga means. So in yoga there are various practices like asanas, pranayams, yam, niyam, which if we follow, it will lead us towards this union with God. Now okay, it's another matter that most of us do not practice yoga with this end in mind, because this is a very high end. This is for people who want to take it up very seriously as a yogic practice. However, for normal people who want to lead their life in a better manner, also yoga is very useful. Let's see how. So first word in Yogah Chitta Vritti Nirodha, yoga means union. Now let's see what chitta means. Chitta in yoga refers to our entire mind stuff. Our chitta is responsible for the all mental powers like perception, cognition or understanding of what we perceive, and memory, and also it includes our consciousness. So chitta is like a ground of mind stuff, where when the consciousness falls, it creates various mental faculties, three mental faculties actually, which is man or mind, buddhi or intellect, and ahamkar or ego. Apart from these three, chitta also holds a record of all the experiences that we have gone through in our life. So each and every experience that we have gone through in our life, not only in this life but previous life also, is stored as impressions on our chitta. So this is what the chitta consists of. Now let's understand a little bit more about the chitta. We'll understand it with an example which Swami Vivekananda has given in his book on Patanjali Yogsutra, his commentary of Patanjali Yogsutra. So let's say that we want to perceive the color red. So what is the process we go through? The first thing is that the eye will see outside. The eye will perceive an object, the color is red, and we see red. But is only the eye responsible for this? Suppose we remove our mind, we don't have a mind, you think we'll be able to see the color red? No. So how does this work? So the eye just collects the raw data, which is the light and the wavelength that strikes the retina. That information then goes to the brain, which is the organ, the biological organ, brain. Brain will convert this wavelength into visual information. This visual information, we still have not got the feeling of having seen it. The brain has just collected the visual information. It is a man or a mind which gives the feeling of perception. So when this visual information is passed to the mind, that is when we perceive something. So we perceive the color. Okay. Mind perceives there is a color, but how does it know what color it is? So basically what it does is, now this information goes to the buddhi or intellect. Buddhi checks with whatever is stored in our chitta. In our childhood we have already we have seen the color red, so we have information about red there. So buddhi goes and checks back on the chitta, it finds information about the color red coded there, and it says yes, this is the color red. Now what happens, the next level comes is the ahamkar or the ego. Now ego wants to show some kind of association or possession or personalization rather with this color red. So any personal associations that we have with this color, suppose on some Christmas we have seen Santa Claus with the red dress, so that association will come up. So we basically associate ourselves with this color, and that is the work of the ego. So this is how the whole perception happens. So this all is happening in our chitta. So that is what is the function of the chitta. So we've understood what's chitta. Now let's understand what does the word vritti mean. Now vrittis are the continuous modifications or fluctuations of the mind stuff or chitta. So chitta keeps being modified continuously when we have any thoughts, feelings, emotions or any perceptions. Let's again understand more about the vrittis through an example. Now suppose you meet a friend of yours, you are happy. So this feeling of happiness is there all over there in the mind. What we say is that a wave of happiness has come in your chitta. As you spend more and more time with a friend, the happiness spreads so much that the whole mind is just full of happiness. There's just happiness there, and you say that I am happy. You are totally identified with the feeling of happiness. So your chitta just feels happy, and that's what there is. So the vritti, you are totally identified with the vritti of happiness that is coming into a chitta at that point of time. Okay, so now after meeting your friend, you are now going for an important appointment that you have. On the way to the appointment, you are stuck in traffic. Now your mind is full of anxiety. So a modification of the mind, there is a slight modification in the form of a wave in the mind, and that wave is there is a wave of anxiety there, and this wave is called vritti. So anything that you think of, you feel, you suppose imagine about your future, you think about your past, any of these activities, the thoughts that come, the feelings that come, they make a wave on they actually make a formation on the chitta. We'll see more about how this formation is. So they fold the chitta, actually they make a formation in the chitta, and this is called the vritti. At the center of the vritti is the content of the thought that you are thinking about. Okay, so now again let's go back to the example. So basically, so as when you are stuck in traffic, now your whole mind is consumed by anxiety, and you identify yourself with that anxiety. You say that I am so anxious. Now after some time you are out of the traffic, you finish with the appointment. Now there is no more anxiety left. So you see that once where there was happiness in your chitta, then there was anxiety, and now it is again all settled down. So there is no permanent change in the mind stuff because of these vrittis that have arisen. Vrittis are temporary. Start with they are temporary. What happens is, if we give our attention to the vrittis, or if we fuel the vrittis, or if we let the vrittis go unbridled, so they attract similar thoughts. Okay, for example, if you are anxious, you will attract more thoughts of anxiety, and the thoughts just keep increasing one by one. All connected anxious thoughts will come to your mind, and there will be a spiral or a vortex of anxiety in your mind. So this is how vrittis just spiral out of hand, and they go out of awareness. Your mind is out of your control, and you are just consumed by those vrittis. So that is why Patanjali suggested this cessation of the vrittis. Now let's talk a little bit more about it. So mind is like the ocean, and in that ocean one circle got created, and in that circle is a thought. Actually in that circle, so the wave that is being created, or the circle that is being created, is a vritti, and within that vritti is held either a thought, feeling, or a perception that you have from the sense organs, or a memory from the past, or any kind of emotional turbulence. So the content is either of these, and the wave itself is the vritti. The product held within the circle is the content of the thought, or it is called the pratyaya, and the circle is the vritti. Now vritti is formed of the same material as the ocean. I mean, it is the chitta has itself come up in waves like a vritti, but ocean is infinite, and ocean's original nature is calm. The wave has different forms. It's either small, big, turbulent, and after some time the wave subsides, and then it merges in the ocean. So in the normal course of life, it is normal to be in the vritti state. Now what that means is that all our attention is only on our vrittis. We are not looking at the ocean, which is the mind stuff or chitta. So we don't know what our true self is. We get very, very identified with the vrittis, and we get carried away by that. So why should we know our true self? Especially if suppose our purpose is not to attain samadhi. In the normal course, a normal person, why should he put in the work to get to know the ocean or the chitta or our true self? Why should we know that? The thing that happens is then that when we are too identified with the vrittis, We just work in the autopilot mode. We work with the negative programming which is there on our chitta. We are not aware of what we are doing, and the vrittis just carries away us away, and we always act according to our vrittis. We just don't know where we are going. We cannot run our own life from a true authentic self. We need to know that we are not our vrittis. So for example, if we are angry about something, so we need to know that our anger is not us. So we need to know how to handle these kind of negative emotions. Or if we are worried about something, jealous of someone, we should know or we hate someone. We are not a hate, we are not a jealousy, we are a different infinite being, and we should be able to lead a life with intention. And so that is why it is very important that we get disidentified from our vrittis. So that's how we come to the last word in this Yoga Sutra, which is Nirodha. Nirodha means cessation. So what this Yoga Sutra says is that Yogah Chitta Vritti Nirodha means the purpose of yoga is to stop the chitta vrittis. But the question comes in that if we stop the vrittis, how do we experience the world? Because each and every experience of the world is only through a vritti. Everything that we see, any object that we see, it is only through a vritti that is formed in a chitta that we are able to perceive any object or feel any feelings or have a thought. So vrittis are very required. So what exactly does this cessation of vrittis mean? So what it means is, it is not that you stop the vrittis forever. It is just that time to time you practice this, do this practice of stopping your vrittis and going back to your original self, which is infinite consciousness, just bliss, just calm mind. So the cessation has to happen for small time frames. So how do we do the cessation of vrittis? Actually, we have experienced this. It is not that in a normal course we don't experience. We experience cessation of vrittis. This happens there is a gap between two thoughts, and that is this state of Chitta Vritti Nirodha. And we can get to know our true self if we stay in this state. But the point is that we cannot really catch this because normally our mind is working at a very, very fast pace. So the first and foremost thing is that we have to slow down our mind. So how do we slow down our mind? The thing is, to slow down our mind, we have to have less thoughts. So we can have, for that we have to look into what is the nature of our thoughts. If we sit and write our thoughts every day, we will come to know that the thoughts that we get are basically of a similar nature each and every day. And you'll also, in analyzing, you will find that you think of the things that you're attached to. So if a mother is very attached to her children, 90% of her thoughts during the day will be about her children. If a man is attached to money, he'll be constantly thinking about money. Oh, how much did I spend today? Why did I spend so much? Where should I save? Where should I invest? How can I increase my income? These are the thoughts that will come. So to slow down your thoughts, you have to practice detachment. You have to start being a little detached from things. I mean, don't be so attached to everything. You have to practice detachment. That is the first thing. And second thing is, once your thoughts slow down, then you have to practice watching the gap between thoughts. In this, meditation will, of course, yoga helps you. Yoga prepares your body and mind. Yoga is the science and the practice of controlling your mind through your body and breath. So basically, when you do those asanas and do the pranayams, you calm the mind. Your thoughts go down, and you get a opportunity to peek and get a look at your real self. So basically, the thing is the cessation of the vrittis. This leads us to be in the drishta mode. Drishta means you are no longer identified with your vrittis and you look at them like a witness. So you have to practice being in the witness state. And so there are two ways. So one thing is you are practicing this witness state by looking at your thoughts, and second thing is the thought itself you have slowed because you are reducing your attachments. A quick consolidation of what I have tried to communicate today. So basically, what is the advantage of usual normal people who don't want to attain samadhi practicing yoga? The practice of yoga will slow down your mind, calm your mind. You will get a calm mind. This will help you to get into the witness mode or the drishta mode. What is drishta mode? Drishta mode is when you are disidentified from your vrittis. You know that you are not your vrittis or your thoughts. You know that you are different from your thoughts, and hence because you are different from them, you can control them. So this leads to better mind control. Better mind control leads to better quality of life, because you can steer your life where you want. You can create a better reality for yourself by doing this, and that is the importance of yoga. I hope that you all like this video, and the next, if there's a good response, next video will be on the 5 types of vrittis. Thanks. Bye.